Hi there, I'm Paul Mitchell, leadership coach, author and founder of The Human Enterprise. Today I want to talk to you about a term that was first coined at NASA years ago called Normalising the Deviation. Let me give you an example and I'll explain the term. Years ago, I had a little itch in my eye. I used to surf a little bit and it got a little bit scratchy, then it got a little bit more painful, then it got a little bit more painful, then it got really, really painful, and finally I went to go and see a doctor. The doctor told me I had a thing called a pterygium in my eye which had to be removed. He then asked, how long do you think you've had this thing? And I said, well, maybe 3 to 6 months. He shook his head, he said, no way. That thing's been there at least 12 to 18 months, even 2 years. What had happened? The pain that I had became the norm. I just accepted that as the norm. What had I done? I had normalised the deviation. Let me give you some examples of normalising the deviation in your life. First of all, business. Someone starts at 8 o'clock every morning at a call centre. They're needed at 8 o'clock in that call centre. But one morning they come in at 8:15. And the next morning they come in at 8:15. And then the next morning. And then after a couple of weeks, what happens is, well, no one said anything. You haven't said anything. People might be a bit angry, but you've got no feedback or the person hasn't been given feedback. And all of a sudden, 8:15 becomes the new norm. We have normalised the deviation. The deviation of start time is now 8:15 rather than 8 o'clock. What about this? Personal example. Your normal weight is saying 75 kgs. You've been that for years. That varies a little bit, but not that much. You go away on this fantastic trip. It's a Gustachian, Epicurean trip, and you eat a little bit too much and you drink a little bit too much. Now you're 80 kg. And you've been meaning to get to the gym, but it doesn't quite happen. Now it's 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. You hop on the scales, yeah, not a major problem, but guess what? Now 80 kg becomes the new normal weight for you. Here's another real live example. I had a friend or a client that became a friend, used to give beautiful hampers at Christmas, turkeys and all sorts of things, when the business performed well. 2 years in a row, great performance. Third year, the business didn't perform that well. So what happened was people, the team, the staff didn't get their Christmas hampers. Do you think people were saying, hey, what do we got to do next year to perform better to get our Christmas hamper? No way. You know what they were saying. Where's the hampers? Where's the hampers? Here's another example. Someone comes to you on a special one-off thing. They want to work for 4 weeks in Spain because of family circumstances. It's going to be tough on your business because your business needs to get people in a room together and you need to do one-on-ones with this particular person. But you say, okay, you can work in Spain for 4 weeks. Then after that month is up, the person comes and says, hey, that worked really well for me. I'm wondering whether I could do 6 weeks virtually in Sweden. Once again, if you agree to that, you have normalised the deviation and you'll be blown away how many people come to you wanting to work off-site. Nothing wrong with that. The point I'm trying to make is, once again, you've normalised the deviation. So let's have a look at what all those things have in common. First of all, one, there was a baseline of some sort. There was a norm of some sort. Secondly, people deviated from that norm. They did something different from the norm. You put on weight, you had more pain in your eye, or whatever. Thirdly, nothing was done about it. Nothing was said. So what's happening is that deviation now becomes the norm. And here's the thing that all those deviations have in common. There's no conscious intent around it. The new norm, the deviation from the old norm, becomes the new norm without you even thinking about it. Not good enough. Let's get you thinking. Here's 4 steps that might help. 1, start to think about what are the things I'm now doing that I take for granted, that I'm putting up with, that I'm just accepting. It could be weight. It could be how many times you get in touch with friends or don't get in touch with friends. So that's the first thing. Have a look at your own behaviour. What have you now accepted as the norm that really deep down you don't like? Number 2, what behaviours are you accepting from others? What happens is we teach people how to treat us. What are you letting go of? What are you not paying attention to? Which means that therefore other people think, well, this is the norm. It's now just the new way of doing things. In other words, there's a new set of expectations that's come into being without you even thinking about it. Number 3, pay attention to early warning signals. If you drive a car and you happens to be a petrol car or diesel car, what you'll see is a little sign, a little dial comes up on your dashboard to say, hey, you're running low on petrol. It may even have a visual, you're running low on petrol. It may have DTE, distance to empty. That's a warning signal to say, hey, pay attention, you need to refuel. And guess what? People still run out of fuel. Have a look at your relationships. Are there early warning signals that they're not going so well? You need to pay attention to them. So start to pay attention to the early warning signals and do something and do it quickly. And finally, if you are going to deviate from the norm, make it upwards, not downwards. If you exercise 2 times a week, make it 3 times a week. If you're going for a certain number, 10, go for 12. If you have meetings with your people one-on-one meetings, say every fortnight, and there's still a lot of issues, then have meetings, one-on-one meetings every week. In other words, if you are going to deviate from the norm, make that new norm something to shoot for, something higher, something that's going to give you greater results. So there we have it. How much have you normalised the deviation, and what are you going to do about it? I'm Paul Mitchell. Find the passion, develop the skills, make the numbers, and make a difference. Hey, thanks for watching this video on the power of small tweaks or small leadership tweaks. We'd love your feedback, so keep it coming via email and social media. And if you believe in the power of small tweaks, I guarantee you also believe in the power of learning. So please, if you want to continue your learning, grab a copy of my latest book, Your Leadership Diamond, How to Transform the Way You Live Your Life, Lead Your People and Leave a Legacy. Right now, at the time of releasing this video, we've got some great bonuses available for you. Simply go to yourleadershipdiamond.com and you'll see all the details there. Keep polishing.